devlet paşa, ya Kuruluş.
With the beginning of season 3 of Kuruluş Osman, there's been a lot of changes, and me and Adam O'Day today will be reviewing these changes, whether it's been beneficial for the show or whether it's made the show worse. So Adam, would you like to begin?
Sure. One of the biggest things that I've seen that's changed, that's been improved on, is world building. You know, they've started to scratch on really building the world and showing that there is more than just Osman, Nikola, and their little tribe.
Yeah.
I think the best thing that I've seen them do is, you know, the introduction of the three lords. You know, this is on a very small scale. You know, I feel like realistically in that time there would be more than just three lords and just, you know, a couple of beys that are kind of scrambling and conflicting over these borderlines, right? Another, you know, addition to that is the addition of Turgut Bey. You know, they in season 2 they added Umar Bey, but it didn't really seem like he was. In the beginning, it definitely seemed like he was like a catalyst for change in this world, right? But then towards the middle of the season, he was just
like Osman's lapdog. He
exactly, pretty much. Now what they've done, and also in the end of season 2, they tried to do the same thing where they introduced, you know, some new governors and new lords, but the same thing. They were just Nikola's lapdogs, right? Now, see, season 3, it seems like they're more touching on politics, and you can see that. And that now you have these three lords. They don't agree on everything. You know, for the most part, they try to help each other out.
They hate each other, but they try to, like, they still know that Osman's a common enemy as well. That's what I like. It doesn't show that because it shows that they all have like their own traits. Like you have, and what I also like is that they have like their own hobbies that they do. Nikola does the sculpting. I think Kosses does the food, like cooking, and Rogatos I think does like the tailoring and stuff. So I think it's showing that they've got more layers to them as well. It's not just like a basic enemy, like I don't even know, like
like they're just like lapdog, like, you know, in season 2 they're just like Nikola's lapdogs, right?
Enemy of season 2, I can't remember the commander's name, but he was just like a random character. He was
Jason.
Yeah, probably. But you have these random characters, and now they're giving like character development. Also, I like the fact that it's showing Osman becoming into, like, his tribe is becoming into a state. Just the tent, man. The tent looks so
Absolutely. Those visual changes by themselves really, you know, they go miles. The tent, the addition of Sorut, you know, the fact that they're trying to get in season 2 they kind of linkered into this, that they're trying to, you know, get a little palace, you know, in Sorut from that dude. A lot of stuff. They're really world building, which I really appreciate. It's been a long time coming. Like, they should have started stuff like this in season 5 of Arturo. I really thought they were going to. They did a little bit, but
they did, like, with the addition of Suet, like in season 5 of Arturo. But I feel like it kind of got lost in season 1 and season 2 of Osman. Especially in season 2, because in season 1 they had like Balgai coming over and taking over Suet a bit, and then you had but then in season 2 they just had like nothing to do with Suet. So it's showing, like, because that was the first capital of the Ottoman Empire, right? So it's not like some little place. It's going to be a massive hold for Osman. Right. As well as, I like how they're showing how Osman's like tribe, Osman's beyhood and everything like that, like the sultanate that he began, it wasn't just of Muslims. Because realistically, he's not going to just have Muslims within his tribe. Then you have the addition of Papaz Gregor, and then you have the Surd Christians, and how he's getting them all onto his side, because he genuinely wants, like, the Christians, the Muslims, the Jews, everyone to live in harmony, and that's the beginning of the empire. So that's what I like. It's in contrast to, like, even season 2 of Osman, where you had, like, mostly all the Christians were on Nikola's side, and no one was on Osman's side, and then the only conversions you have in that point was like Cherkotai, really.
I like, how are you know, when you're building an empire, you're building a state, you have to understand that there are going to be all types of people from all different backgrounds, and you have to be willing and able to accept and accommodate for those. And, you know, you can't, if you make an enemy out of everybody, you can't, you know, build anything. 100%. So and I think one of right now my favorite character, I'm biased on this, my favorite character, the new Turgut Bey.
100%.
This guy is on another level. From right when you see him, when the focus shifts from his horse to him, and you get that vocal, you know, the dervish vocal, you know, on his face, you know, to when he leads his, you know, soldiers into battle, kidnaps Muddy. Even when he's kidnapped and like, you know, when he went to the cage and he destroyed the cage. This guy, the actor himself, is on another level. I really think he could have portrayed Osman, in my opinion. And in some,
Look, I think what I like about Turgut is it's not showing, like, obviously it's showing that he had some conflict with Osman.
Yes.
But I really hope that he's not just gonna be another Yavlak Arslan or another.
Yes, agreed.
Or what any of these characters who were against Osman in the first place, and then they just think. I hope that he's with Osman, but I also hope, like, even what it showed, like, he went and killed those Catalans.
Yes, he's his own man. You know, that's what I really like about it. He's his own character, his own man. He has his own story, and I really hope and it seems like they're doing that. Like, I really hope they keep going with that. And another thing, what's interesting about him, and what makes me like him better than Osman, is I feel like Bozdag, you know, maybe because of like some, you know, political reasons or something like that, you know, they can't really show a lot of flaws on Osman. But this guy, you can see he has flaws. You know, he's a little bit temperamental. He's a little bit not too short-sighted, but, you know, he's a little short-sighted. You know, and he's like he has made some mistakes, but he owns up to those mistakes and he tries to fix those mistakes. And it's like he reminds me of that real man. You know, sometimes when somebody, like, they try to take a character, they try to give them that real man persona, like the everyman persona. Like, you can relate to this guy because it's like, hey, this is like a real dude. You know what I'm saying? So, and he's a really badass character too. So I really like that they did that with him.
Yeah. So we talked about a bit about the new characters and stuff. I think the last thing about that, just in that section, we should talk about, like, Mikhail Kosses and Mari. Mikhail Kosses, this is where my history comes in. Okay. He was actually one of the first people to convert to Islam, like, who were the commanders of the Byzantines who, like, converted to Islam because of the Ottoman Empire and everything.
Wow.
So that's why I'm looking forward to see the development of Mikhail Kosses. I was gonna say one thing though, his face is like a really scary face naturally. Is that just me?
Dude.
Is that just me?
No, man, especially when he does the thing when he does this.
Yeah, okay.
Holy smokes, man! I'm like,
he goes like Turgut Bey, but his face, I was like, God, this guy has some scary face. And it's like, I like that because it's showing like he's a real threat. He went and chopped those thumbs off. Yeah, Osman did it to his ups. But he's not just like another one who's gonna just suck up to Nikola. He's his own commander.
Agreed.
He went and did that thing to Turgut Alp. He's doing this. Also, I like what they're doing with Nikola, you know.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, like, the way that they're trying to develop Nikola as a real villain is really quite good, because in the last season he sat in his castle all day. He's already done more in this season, in the first few episodes, than he did all of last season. He's actually going out to battle. Like, he went and raided Turgut Alp's tribe. He's gone out other times as well. And I like how he's like got a little thing with Murray, because that's gonna make him kind of like, I think Murray might do like convert as well. Like it's all like interesting. Like, we can talk about these theories, but it's like I like what they're doing so far with that compared to last season where they just had no real threat. Now they're showing the threat.
They're showing threats. They're showing different paths that these guys can take. They're, you know, before everything seemed kind of linear. You know what I mean? Now it's like, what is going on? You know, it lets the viewer think, like, it lets the viewer like think, predict, and it gives that room for unpredictability. Right? Season 2 is very predictable. I mean, you know, Osman goes attacks, what's his face? Togay gets in trouble by Gehatu. Omar goes and attacks Gehatu. Omar gets destroyed. Osman has to say, it was just all very, like, you know, very linear, you know. But now it's like you have all these moving pieces. You got the Catalan mercenaries, you got the 3 governors, you got these new Beys coming in who want to do their own thing, and they haven't even introduced the Mongols yet. I mean, Gehatu is still a big part of the story. He's still
that's what I'm looking forward to.
Me too.
See, and also like how they're showing that all the Beys weren't united under Osman as well. Like, all of them don't like Osman. Like, he has some favor over like some Beys, but not all Beys like him. So he's gonna try and like convince them stuff. That's what I'm looking forward to as well.
I have a question for you on that point. My understanding historically is that there were 4 kind of major Turkmen, tribes, and, you know, they were like kind of like all the, like, the Germaniads or something like that, and Osman and all that. Like, they were all fighting to kind of take dominance of the Turks after the fall of the Seljuk, and, you know, obviously the Osmans came above everybody. Do you think that's going to be play in the episodes to come?
I think they're going to show definitely that Osman is uniting a lot of the tribes. I don't think they're going to show some of the tribes. Like, do you know how they had Targun's tribe? What was it? The Karamanids, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were like a big player even in time of Sultan Fateh Sultan Ahmed. So they're going to show them a bit as well later on. But right now, I think it's going to show Osman uniting the main Turkic tribes, like Turgut Bey's tribe. But I hope Turgut Bey doesn't just submit to Osman. Like, I hope he's doing his own thing.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't want another Göktürk or another Boran.
Yeah. Oh, I don't want.
They're boring. Then there's nothing. Even last season when you had Göktürk and Zoe, you know Göktürk was going to catch Zoe out, and then this was going to happen.
When they found out that she was like a traitor, it's like his heart. He wasn't even sad about it. He was just like.
He just took the present he gave her and left.
Right.
And never spoke about it again.
That is a huge problem that they've had with this show, and even dating all the way back to the Arturo days. Is it seems like these guys have short-term memories or something like that. You know, it's like they forget about like betrayals. They forget about their heartbreaks. I mean, Turgut Bey, the real Turgut, was the only one that I ever remember who would remember people from the past, like Aytez, like all throughout the show, he'd remember like, hey, this happened to Aytez, like this is a heartbreak for me. I'll never forget it. Whereas freaking Göktürk, like literally 2 weeks after this lady he loved, you know, he's like forgot about her. Yeah. And not just that, but okay, Boran and Göktürk, they keep failing their missions. Okay. The hell, like, you know, punish them, or at least.
Sounds like Göktürk, and then he's like proper upset. He's like, get out of here. He's like, okay. And the way that Osman was tightening his bow though.
Oh yeah.
I was like, maybe something's gonna happen here. Like maybe he's gonna just beat him up, but he doesn't do anything. He just shout, "Get out of my face!" Okay, fine, nothing happened.
Yeah.
I feel like this whole Goncha Boran, there's nothing there. Like, come on, be real. There's no character development.
Yeah, there definitely needs to be some character development. I think there's potential, but they definitely need some better.
Yeah. Okay. So we talked about like the positives. Now let's just go into what you think they could improve. You can begin us. I know you're the main cinematographer and everything about this.
Pretty much the negatives, we've kind of mentioned them before, mainly like the characters, you know, they feel like they're empty vessels, you know, some of them, Kurulus Bey, for example, he's just, you know, I hate to say this, but it seems like he's like just like a lapdog. He needs to have his own story, you know, Göktürk, Boran, they need to have their own stories. I mean, you know, that's a big problem. Another problem is consequences. There need to be like much worse consequences in the show. And you can give an example of that.
Yeah, so like I think what you were saying about consequences is when you fail like a mission, like how big Boran and Göktürk failed a mission, you're not just gonna get shouted out and get let out. Like you would get your title removed. I like what they showed with Dündar Bey when he failed with Ertuğrul, how they took his like title away as Bey and out, and then when he found out about like Ural raiding the thing, then he was giving it back because he showed him. Göktürk and Boran, I honestly feel that they're not doing anything really to earn that position except from being best friends with Osman.
Yeah.
And like even Gündüz, yeah, it's showing him as like more of a diplomatic Bey, but come on, you want more from like the main character's brother. You don't want just him to be sitting there not doing anything. Also, he's supposed to be head out as well, right? Gündüz is head out. But he doesn't go on. I've never seen him on an expedition in like 2 visits. What's he doing?
Dude, he can't even protect the tribe. People are sneaking in, sneaking out like it's nothing. You know what I mean?
And like even his like look, we talked about the positives, but there's still a few negatives of the show. Obviously, both sides.
Yeah, we have to pinpoint them. You know, if we care about the show, we have to pinpoint the negatives too, right?
And like even Gündüz and his wife Aisha, like they don't show any interaction. There's nothing there with Osman. Yeah, what I like about it is the Malhun and Bala now bonding. How Malhun saved Bala, and because last season it just killed me every episode. Bala crying. We don't want to see Bala crying for 45 minutes of the 2-hour show. Like, come on, it wastes time.
Especially also, she's such a strong character. Like in season 1, they really showed that she was. I mean, in my opinion, I like her a lot better than Halima. You know, she's more like has more presence, has more strength, has more headstrongness. You know, she's a much stronger character than. Halima in that regard, but season 2 they just totally kind of put it down, just crying every single episode.
Yeah, it's like she's supposed to be Sheikh Edabali's daughter in like season 1, and they show that. Season 2 is just more of like a side. It's just Osman's wife, so you don't get the same like thing. But now I like how they're just showing that Osman's wives are like together because it's their child is Osman's child at the end of the day. So they so that's what I like about that now. But I hope they don't just revolt, because last season I felt that they were doing too many scenes with just the woman's arguing about stuff and like this.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Overdone.
obviously you can have parts of that. Like we had that in Ertuğrul because you want that own part. You don't want it. You want to be separate from that. But it comes to an extent where it just gets too much. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But yeah.
Another thing that I would say that they definitely need to improve on is, as we've said many times before, the consequences and threat. When I see them go into a battle, or when I see like a mistake happening, I don't feel like I'm like, I don't have that fear, or I'm not at the edge of my seat. I feel like somebody's gonna die. I know that they're gonna get out of any situation. They get overrun and trapped by the Catalans, even if it's like 3-10. I'm like, oh yeah, it's no problem. They're gonna somehow, some way, they're gonna get out of that situation.
Also, I just want to say this one thing, yeah. They're killing all the Catalans, and the guy, what's his name, Anselmo, he's just standing watching them kill his men.
And then he runs away.
And then this is what I'm talking about when we were talking about no consequences. Moreno got to fail, but they're still killing the Catalans as they're walking away.
Exactly.
I tell me, like, let's finish them off once and for all, which should be like the realistic like target, what they're wanting to do. They just let them kill their men and then just let them go. It's just saying.
It's like that's what I want to feel, that kind of edge of my seat fear. Like when I watch a show like Vikings, in every single battle, doesn't matter, every single battle, no matter what, I'm always like there's always, it feels like there's always a chance somebody can die, you know, and that's how a battle is. But like now in these shows, it's like it doesn't feel like that anymore. It just feels like, oh, it's like I'm watching a dance. Who's gonna make the nicest, sword move? I want to have that, I want to have that adrenaline, that feel. But that's the thing, you don't feel like anyone's gonna, even if they get trapped, you don't feel like anything's gonna happen. That's a problem.
100%. I feel like even with Barbarossa, because Barbarossa I've been watching recently, I think it's right now better than Osman, because you have that every episode. When it's ending, I'm tearing out my hair. I don't know what's happening in the next episode. With Osman, they just end with like, I like if they would have ended in what's it called, the episode with Papaz Gregor entering and not explaining anything. If you just entered and then it ended, that would have left you on your edge of the sheet, on the edge of your seat. But because they just like let him talk and something, it was kind of like, okay, fine. Last for me, this is the last like main issue, is they make the most irrelevant guy the traitor. Let's talk about this for a second.
So
Why
dumb.
is Bahadir? I don't even know who this guy is. Bahadir. Why is he the traitor? Because firstly, if you watch the when Abdullah reacted to the final episode, he was talking about how this irrelevant guy. He shot Nikola. So how come he's suddenly a traitor? And then he killed Osman's horse. So that's a bit random. He killed Osman's horse. And even when he killed Osman's horse, like Osman's like, that's his like childhood friend, realistically. But he's not even crying. He's just like, he's just standing there.
That's exactly how he does it, man.
He's just grabbing his head. And okay, if that's your horse, then why are you just being like rubbing your hand together? You should be sobbing or crying.
I personally think they did enough with the horse thing. He did show some emotion. He was a bit sad. I think like a person in that position is not going to cry over his horse, or even his best friend if they die. You know, maybe his bestest friend or his wife or brother, but like their horse, I don't think. Like these, you have to remember these guys are strong dudes, and I think they showed enough emotion on that side. But it was funny that they chose this random. It's like they looked at the cast. They're like, eeny, meeny, miny, you. Okay, you're gonna be a traitor now, just for no reason.
There's no motive. Even what I liked about Earthworlds, when you had like a traitor like Kuruluş. You remember Kuruluş?
There was a reason for that. Yeah, that was like one of the best traitors.
You can understand. He wants the best for his tribe. Yeah, you're against him, but like you understand. And then even when he dies, he says the Shahada, because he was still like a Muslim thing. With Bahadir, there's no motives. He's supposed to be Muslim. They're even calling him a Turk, and he's just working for them for no reason. He's like, oh, I did it for you, Mikhail Kosses or whatever. Or yeah, there's no reason. No, there's nothing about it. I don't understand.
What kind of person, that doesn't make sense to me. Like it doesn't make sense that a person would devote their whole lives to somebody. You can make it make sense. It's not like it can't make sense. You can make it make sense, but it's just as you said, it's for no reason. But yeah, that's that. Positively, I think they've really improved on cinematics. Cinematic wise, I mean, you can see the production is at a much higher quality. They're experimenting with new angles and cinematic directory. Before it felt like they were just like playing with a framework. Okay, you have a dialogue scene. It's these two same camera angles every time.
Yes.
Okay,
And, like,
you have an action scene. It's these two same things every single time. Now it feels different. They're doing different, you know. And when you experiment with, you know, before the tribe just felt so small. It just felt so small. It felt like there were only two places in the tribe.
now they're expanding the tribe, even the tent itself, like they're expanding it. You have like Osman's tent with Bala, Osman's tent with Malhun. Like he's keeping it separate. You have like the Alps tent. You have all these tents. That's what I like. It's showing that the tribe's getting bigger as well. Also, I feel like to add positively, I think Osman is showing him not as a Superman, which was like a major issue of season 2. Like it's showing even in the first season when he's getting beaten up by that, and even getting beaten up, but he was struggling to beat that big Catalan.
That was so cool.
Like it's not showing him as a Superman; it's showing him that he has difficulties. And also, talking about cinematography, what do you feel like when Osman chopped that guy's head off and it just went rolling down the hill?
That was actually pretty cool. That was actually pretty cool.
Should we give some predictions for what we think is going to happen in further episodes?
Let's do it. You can go ahead and start off.
Yeah, I think they're going to show that there's going to be a massive war between the Tekfurs themselves, like in battle. It's not going to show just them fighting Osman and stuff. I think it's going to show them like fighting within as well. Like there's going to be a massive battle there. Also, I'm looking forward to see the Mongols, like the way that you were talking about earlier, the way that Gayhouse is going to come in. Because realistically, the Mongols they were still kind of in charge of that area. The Seljuks were like the what's it called, puppets to the Mongols. So it's going to show that they still have power there and that they use the Byzantines as well. So I'm looking forward to see that. Hopefully they don't just show like Osman coming in and then they defeat them because they talk to the wise old men. I want the wise the wise men, the wise old men, white bearded men. That's what it was, white bearded men. I want to see more development of them. I can't wait to see like they're going to be like a big player in this season, I reckon. Do you want to give like your predictions for future episodes?
Yeah, sure. I think what this season, I think they're going to like probably towards the middle of the season they're going to kind of show how the Ottoman Empire started to expand. I think Osman's going to at least move a little bit or start integrating that little palace that he bought into it in Soyuz. I really want to see a good conquest. I'm pretty sure they're going to show a good conquest this season, but they need to make like a real conquest. You know, running into a castle and just secretly finding a secret entrance and filling the that's unrealistic. I want to see a real conquest where throwing the ladders up, climbing the ladders, cannons. Fighting in cannons. Maybe not cannons yet. Maybe some black powder because the Ottomans were the first to experiment and use black powder as weaponry.
Yeah,
but I want to see like some big old things
at the beginning of season 2, where they when they used the whole fighting method. And remember the beginning of season 2, like that fight scene was amazing. I hope they show that, but instead of just having it a battle, have it as a conquest.
Yes, agreed. And it has to be a full-on conquest. It can't just be you just dive in like that's just. I don't know. They could have done. I don't think they could have done it before because it costs a lot of money. The way the sets are built. But I think they can definitely do it now. That's something I really want to see. Another thing that needs to be shown that I think is going to happen is there has to be a major death. Probably Göktürk or Boran or Gündüz but
I think less so Gündüz. I think definitely they can sacrifice instead of sacrificing someone like even last season they killed Turan Alp. Like that's upsetting, but come on, he didn't have much.
Yeah, they just brought him in and killed him off. It didn't feel like anything. And
they kill off someone that they've been developing. Even if they kill a Cherkutai, obviously that's gonna upset fans so much, but it's gonna be like a massive turning point in the season. You know what I mean? So that's what I hope for. Like, not that Cherkutai dies, but like what it will lead to, because they having them beating them all the time. I want to see, and I don't want to see it as like they're trapping someone and then they get. And then they're just killing everyone. I want to see that it was an actual battle, and they got killed through the battle instead of Nikola trapping them and then they got killed. Because that's happened so many times when they just raid them and then they killed them. I want to see like it's a fair battle. That Osman, even if it's just like a normal battle and then Göktürk dies or then Boran dies, because then it's like
it doesn't have to be dramatic. It can just be like something. It can be something quick or something unexpected. It doesn't have to be too dramatic. Like just to show that it can happen at any time to anybody.
Even how they killed by Hoxha. Like how it showed them were fighting and then suddenly it was dramatic. It wasn't dramatic, but bang, sudden. That's what I want to go Boran to die.
I like that. It was heartbreaking. I like Behoja a lot, man. I really didn't want him to die, but like see that shows it puts you on edge. It makes you think, okay, if this can happen to him, it can happen to anybody.
Last season they killed a lot of people. The only thing I hope for is because last season, like even when Sabchi died, you knew Sabchi was gonna die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they showed it in the trailer, but I hope they don't do that again.
Agreed.
But anyways, I think we've rambled on enough. Thank you guys all for watching. If you've enjoyed it, make sure to like, subscribe to my channel, Forgotten History. Give a shout out to your channel.
Sure, yeah. Subscribe to Rada 8 Productions. Season 2 of the Kuruluş Osman / Dirilis Anadolu trailer is coming out probably today, or probably before you guys see in this episode. So
Make sure
please be
check
sure
out-
to check it out. It's
Link will
lit
be
as
in the
hell.
description. Link will be in the description. Subscribe to KayiReacts. Abdullah unfortunately couldn't make it today, but he will be here next week and next time inshallah. So thank you all for watching. Jazakallah khair.